everybody. I just want to take a couple of minutes and wish everybody well as you get ready for the AP exam on Tuesday. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all, I want you all to hear it from me that obviously I feel terrible about the way your senior year ended. Not exactly the ideal in any sense. As I told you all in my message on Friday, my family had a baby, and it's been an amazing challenge. You know, not being able to see my parents, not being able to meet with her grandparents and great-grandparents and all of that kind of thing. And so I know a little bit about that sense of loss that you feel, and you kind of feel trapped in this time period that's supposed to be so special and so important. You know, it's a challenge, but we're all going to get through it. And I think in the end, we'll really have an appreciation that we didn't have before for some of those good things in life that maybe we're missing right now. And when it comes down to it, you're going to have a story. You're always going to be able to go back to people and you know, tell them about your senior year, which was different than everybody else's senior year. And again, it's different, but in a way that also makes it special. So anyway, sorry I didn't get to see you all in person to wish you well at the end of the year, but I really do wish all of you the best in your future endeavors, and I know life will work out great for you, even though this has been a little bit of a challenge in this time period. I do want to talk a little bit about the AP exam briefly. I'm going to continue posting resources. I'm going to continue to post tips. Obviously, at the point most of you are at now, everybody's in a different place. You know, there are people that are shooting for the highest 5 they can possibly make. There are people who are just trying to get over that line. Can I possibly get a 3? You know, there are people who kind of want a solid 4. You know, if you get a 5, great, but you definitely don't want to fall to a 3 level and, you know, run the risk of maybe not passing the exam. I know everybody's in different places, and that's why being able to talk to me on Schoology Messenger, being able to talk to me on Google Meet, these things are all really important. So I'm online today, Sunday, when I'm recording this. I'm going to try to be online a lot on Monday as well. I'll always put that link in the updates. And again, I'll try to answer messages on Schoology as much as possible. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention about the exam itself, okay? I think the exams can be very tough, okay? Almost every year when people come back from the AP exam, everybody says, oh my gosh, I thought I was well prepared and I went in and took that. It was so hard. This is a problem-solving exam. And they don't want you to just memorize calculus. Oh yeah, they want you to memorize things. You know, you need to know what the mean value theorem is, and you need to know how to find limits, and you need to know how to justify continuity, and you need to be able to separate variables and solve differential equations, and do implicit differentiation and related rates, and all of those different things. But at the same time, they're always going to wrangle them around a little bit, and they're going to look a little bit different. So remember that, you know, if you're getting half the points on most AP exams, that's probably pretty good. If you're getting 6 out of 9 consistently, you're getting 2/3 of the points, you're going to make a 5 with no problem. Okay, if you're getting half the points, you're probably going to make a 4 with no problem. If you're getting, you know, maybe 40-45% of the points, you're probably going to pass the exam. Okay, and we're not used to that. We're used to tests where, you know, you miss 1/5 of the questions and you're not very happy with your final grade, and that's very different. So you have to keep that in mind. All right. Every year, people come back from the AP exam and they're like, oh, it was hard. There were things that were different than previous years, and that happens every year. Okay. As I remind people, when you take the AP exam, number one, they're not going to fail everybody. Okay, if 2% of the people in the country fail the AP exam or pass the AP exam, they're going to have problems. Okay, nobody will take AP classes anymore. So, you know, they're going to pass 40, 50, 60% of the people in the country. You also have to remember, you go to a school that's been very, very successful. Okay, most years we have 75% or so pass. 2 years ago we had 80% pass. We had 50 people pass the AP exam, and we had I think 37 or 38 4s and 5s in the 2017 and 2018 years. A little smaller group last year, but you know, we've had really great success. Okay, we also had gotten to most of the topics prior to the shutdown. And as a result, you know, that's something you also have to kind of think about. Okay, where were you in comparison to the rest of the country? And the fact is, we've been in the top half of the country, way into the top half of the country in past years. Whatever you're feeling, however hard it seems, probably 2/3, 3/4 of the country has it worse than you. And a lot of those people are going to pass as well. So you have to just kind of keep reminding yourself that, okay? And we don't know what the scoring is going to be like. You know, this could be a super hard exam and maybe you get a fifth of the questions right, and that's good enough. I think they're going to put hard stuff on there because if there were easy questions, I think it'd be really easy for people to cheat and put answers out there online. So I do think it's going to be a struggle. But I think that's going to be reflected in the scoring as well, okay? So you just have to keep that in mind. You have to scratch, you have to get every single point you can, and in the end, no, you're in a better place than most of the people in the country were, okay? You had, my video lessons, you had access to the College Board lessons, we had done most of the topics in class prior to this. Obviously, I've done this for a long time, and I've had a lot of success with it. So you've got all the things there that can make you successful. Okay, just a couple of notes about the exam itself. Do make sure you're showing work, okay? If you take an integral, make sure they can see that you're taking the integral. What are the bounds? What equation are you taking the integral of? If you're taking a derivative, make sure they can see I'm taking the derivative of this at what point. If they ask you to explain something in the context of a problem, make sure you're not just saying, maybe you're taking the integral of velocity. Make sure you're not just saying something like displacement, okay? You need to say something like the car traveled a total displacement of 150 meters from t equals 10 seconds to t equals 20 seconds. If there's a number there, you need to explain that number, and you need to include correct units in the answer as well. Okay, so make sure you're showing those kinds of things. You don't need to say, I used Math 8 on my calculator. You don't need to say, I used Math 9 on my calculator. You just write an integral symbol and go from there. They claim this is set up to be done without a calculator. So I think you're going to have answers that are best left in exact form. Maybe you'll have an answer of e squared or pi minus 4 or something like that. That's fine. If you round, 3 or more decimal places, okay? Make sure you're also including units. They just kind of randomly assess points for units, and you never know when it's going to happen. So those are things that you also want to think about. Obviously, be very careful with just basic stuff like the chain rule. Are you applying it when you take derivatives? Are you applying it when you take integrals and working backwards? Think about things like if you're taking an integral and you've got an output variable in your equation, you're going to have to separate variables. If you're taking a derivative and you have an output variable, a y or whatever the variable is in that particular problem, you're going to have to think about that. Also, be careful. They love giving you multiple equations. Make sure you're using the right equation, okay? Make sure you're using specific language. Don't say the derivative. Say f prime is equal to 5. Label things carefully. Maybe they give you a function g that's based on function f. And you can say something like g prime equals f equals 3 or something like that, and really keep it clear, okay? But try to use very precise language. Use the names of things. Don't use general statements, it, the graph, that kind of thing, okay? They don't like that. Again, if you do round 3 or more decimal places, keep your units and your answers. Anyway, lots and lots of things I could tell all of you, and unfortunately, 5 days a week in class, we're getting that stuff out there, we're talking about it constantly. It's a little different when you have to do it from home. But again, I think if you're showing work and keeping in mind that if you just slap an answer down, they're not going to give you any points. If you're showing what you're doing, things will work out well. Remember, you don't have to simplify things. So if you've got a statement that's like sine of 2 minus 5 over 8, you can leave it in that form. Okay, I do think for Riemann sums, they do want you to actually get a final answer when you do that. Show what's being multiplied together, show your answer. But again, in most cases, an answer like e squared minus 5 over 7, totally okay. Be careful with things like parentheses, though. If you've got a derivative of an inside function with plus or minus, make sure you've got parentheses around that derivative. But anyway, lots of things I can list. I'm going to keep putting materials up. Obviously, if you want to ask me questions, feel free to. Again, I know you guys can do this. I know we've had a lot of challenges, but I really think the materials are out there to help people do as well as you want to do. Okay? So if you're seeing this Sunday, you've got 2 days to get ready for the AP exam. If you're seeing this on Monday, you've still got a day to get ready for the AP exam. Plenty of time to focus on the things that you need to focus on and try to get better. I've put folders out there with a lot of FRQs from previous years. The answers are there as well. Some of them, it's going to be very easy for you to go through and look at the answers and figure it out. But if you have any kind of question, let me know. If you've got a topic you want me to look at more, let me know. All right? I'm going to quit flapping my jaws here and let you guys get to work. If there's anything I can do for you, you know where to find me. Send me a message. Best of luck to all of you.